Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and it's happened. It's finally happened. Season 13 has been announced as the next installment in the Doctor Who The Collection range. As I was predicting was most likely the case, we do have confirmation that arguably the greatest season Doctor Who has ever done is going to be the next season we get. We have the artwork you can see right here is a nice close up of Tom. That's a great facial expression we have for him. Lee Binding, of course, has done another great job on this set. Let's scroll down and have a look at it. This is, of course, Tom's second season with Sarah Jane Smith traveling with him as well. The colors pop on this. I'll go ahead and talk about what comes in the set, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the artwork. The trailer was interesting because the trailer, it's another one of the clip trailers. You know, it doesn't have all the details. It doesn't have the mini episodes like a lot of them had. This is more just a clip show. The trailer's a little disappointing. Still looks good. Great music in it. A little disappointing. But some of the stuff that comes in the box set, it didn't really touch on either. Like after watching the trailer, I was like, what? No updated special effects and stuff like that. Even though there's a couple shots looking at it now from Terra that might have been updated effects. But there's a lot of information the trailer didn't give you that I had to come here and actually look to see what all came in it. We have the nice Worlds Within, which is a profile on actor Ian Martin, or Ian Martyr, excuse me, who of course played Harry Sullivan, and I'm a big Harry Sullivan fan. Return to 13, Philip Hinchcliffe returns to the location of several 13 stories and is reunited with old friends. It looked like we saw Gabriel Wolf in the trailer. I love Gabriel Wolf. And of course, I'm a big Philip Hinchcliffe fan as well. We have In Conversation with Graham Harper, the only director to direct classic and modern Doctor Who, and I really wish they'd bring him back in the modern series some more. I love me some Graham Harper, so it'll be great to see him in conversation. Tom talks on season 13. We do know they have banked material with Tom to kind of future proof his collection sets because Tom is 91 years old. So it'll be nice to have another session of Tom talking about life. I love in the trailer when he talks about seeing all of the other doctors and how he avoids them like the plague. It's such a Tom Baker thing to say. I love that man. We have the Doctor Who escape room, which is the fourth Doctor team attempt their escape. That's not even in the trailer, which I don't know. Maybe it's because these aren't. I don't get the impression these are that popular. I'm not even sure who all's in the fourth Doctor team. I'm sure Sadie will be there, but I'm not sure who else is there for the fourth Doctor team. Maybe John Leeson. Um, and then we have behind the sofa, of course, where we have Colin Baker, who is with Sarah Sutton and Janet Fielding on one seat. And then we have, was it Katie and Sadie? Sadie, of course, is Elizabeth's daughter, and it's great to see Sadie back. I know Sadie was on the season 12 one. It's good to have her back again. Always lovely to see Katie. And of course, we got Sophie and Maureen. I miss Peter. I miss seeing Peter Davison on the behind the sofa. Partially just because you get Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, and Peter Davison together, and it's such a fun time. I just love they're so comfortable with each other, and I just love how they banter back and forth, especially Peter and Janet. I just absolutely love them. And Colin with them is also fine because Colin just gets along with everybody. But I miss having Peter on there, and plus it'd just be nice to hear Peter talk about this season. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't had Peter in a while. We have brand new audio commentaries with Tom Baker on episodes from Terror of the Zygons, Pyramids of Mars, and the Android Invasion, which is something else I don't think was really touched on in the trailer. It mentions brand new audio commentaries, and then that's it. We have updated special effects on Terror of the Zygons, which a lot of us knew was coming. Not 100% knew, but guess was coming because we do know they had been doing restoration work on the Loch Ness Monster, so we'd been assuming Terror of the Zygons would be the one getting the updated effects, which again, the trailer, I don't even think really mentioned, surprisingly, and that's a huge selling point. Because when I first watched the trailer, I was disappointed that it looked like we weren't getting any updated effects besides the Tales of the Tardis edited pyramids. So it's nice to see that it's getting some updated effects. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We have omnibus recreations. Of course, Pyramids of Mars and Brains of Morbius did get omnibus editions back in the 70s with the omnibus edition of Pyramids of Mars having some of the highest viewing figures Doctor Who ever had. Matter of fact, they had over 13. The omnibus reshowing, the omnibus edit that showed in the 70s of Pyramids of Mars was the highest viewing figures Doctor Who had had up until that time. And I think it kept the record all the way until either the very end of Destiny of the Daleks or City of Death with well over 13 million. Hugely popular omnibus. And then we have the brand new edit of Seeds of Doom. Now, this is, they were going to do an omnibus edit of Seeds of Doom back in the 70s that actually ended up not getting done. But I believe they still had Douglas Camfield's notes of how he was going to edit it down, if I understand correctly. And they have taken those notes to basically create what he would have done in this edit. So we're finally getting the 70s edit of the Seeds of Doom that was planned, but never was actually done, if I'm remembering correctly. That's what we're doing here. So that's going to be really neat to get those. I'm looking forward to seeing those. We're getting the Tales of the TARDIS 2024 edit of Pyramids of Mars with the updated effects. And of course, the studio scenes were given a more film look. Instead of having a studio look, they were giving a more film look. With, of course, the bookending parts with the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, whether you want that or not. Now, I would have preferred updated effects for, just the standard length version of Pyramids of Mars, of course. But I would imagine that would have been really hard for them to do, especially considering, again, the studio series have been given a more filmatic look. It probably would have been really hard. I am happy this edit is on here. We have 3 versions of Pyramids of Mars, and I love Pyramids of Mars, one of my favorite Doctor Who stories of all time. It'll be interesting because I've never seen, obviously, the original omnibus of Pyramids of Mars. So I want to watch that and then compare it with the 2024 edit of Pyramids of Mars, see which one I like better. That will be a fun YouTube video. We have more never before released footage right here. We have interviews with Elizabeth Sladen and Michael Sheard. And I, of course, love when Michael Sheard shows up in Doctor Who. He's in many, many stories, so that will be fun to watch. And, of course, 5.1 surround sound on Pyramids of Mars as well, plus much more. Great to have Tom Baker doing the narration in the video. I really like some of the stuff going on here. I love the artwork here for the book right here from Seeds of Doom. That is a lovely, lovely piece of art right there. We have Pyramids of Mars being represented right here, and that's an iconic shot of Tom, which looks like it's taken almost from his intro in the TARDIS. That looks really good. I love the disc art. The colors used, that background that's used, works really well for the disc art. I am just looking at these shots. I am just so enamored with the disc art here. It has this epic look to it. I absolutely adore the disc art here. Very, very good. And let's talk about the art. I was actually a little disappointed at first with the art, but it is fast growing on me. And it's nothing to do with Lee's talent. Lee Binding is absolutely amazing. Not only is he my favorite Doctor Who artist, he's one of my favorite artists of all time. I adore his work. But my main, what I would call issues, for lack of a better word, are subjective. One, I did not want the outfit used, the kind of Scottish outfit from Terror of the Zygons. I really didn't want that on the cover. To me, that was more suited for the disc art. And granted, it looks phenomenal on the Terror of the Zygons DVD. But I wanted his Pyramids of Mars outfit. I love Pyramids of Mars. It's such an important part of Doctor Who. But I figure maybe Lee figured the Pyramids of Mars look with his fedora is a little too close to his season 12 look, and he wanted to distinguish 12 and 13 on a shelf next to each other a little more. So he did decide to go with this, with the more Scottish look here. My biggest problem is that he barely wears this in the episode. Like I think he's even stopped wearing it by the end of episode 1, if I'm remembering right. It's been a while since I watched Terror of the Zygons, but he doesn't actually wear this very long. But looking at it, this is growing on me very quickly, very quickly. I went from this morning being a little let down and disappointed to this looks good. This looks really good. And this does look good. I love, of course, we still got a scarf. It's a different scarf, but he still got his scarf. I like that he's holding the object in his left hand again, because typically the Doctor's holding it in his right hand. I like that he's holding it in his left, a lot like season 17. This looks like the item that the Loch Ness Monster follows in Terror of the Zygon, I'm assuming. The little thing it hones in on, if I'm remembering correctly. Been a while since I watched Terror of the Zygons. I love the look on Tom's face. I think that is a brilliant portrait of Tom right there. A very serious look, which fits season 13. I have a little issue with the background because I could not, for the life of me, for the longest time, figure out what the heck this is, and that was bugging me. Because, to be fair, though, I didn't quite know what you could use as a background for season 13 and really make it pop. I mean, if you've heard me talk about season 13, I was having a lot of problems figuring out what I thought would make a good background. This is actually from Terror of the Zygons. Somebody posted it on Twitter responding to Lee Binding, knowing exactly what it was. Lee had said it was from one iconic moment from one episode of the season. And it's in Terror of the Zygons when the Doctor's got his right hand on part of the Zygon ship and his other hand is touching this kind of round looking purple thing. This is meant to represent that. I've seen the screenshot, and it is a good interpretation of it. And it looks good. The purple was throwing me off at first simply because I do not associate purple with this season, but that is the color of this thing here. Although I want to see the original art, because we do know originally the art was going to be different colors. I'm suspecting more like the colors in season 7. But again, they were too similar to a recent season, and he changed into this because it works better. I do want to see that original art. I love when Lee Binding releases the alternate art, like the Orange Season 12 or the Season 17 TARDIS flap that was City of Death instead of Horns of Nimon. I love when he does stuff like that. But this is looking really good. And with Season 12 having so much purple in it, it's going to complement this one really well, sitting next to each other on the shelf with both of them being in purple. So this is actually looking pretty good. It's growing on me. I love the logo here and that kind of burnt orange color. It's kind of a cross between orange and red to my eyes. It's like if you took orange and red and they met in the middle, we have what I call burnt orange. That's what that looks like to me. It just screams Terror of the Zygon colors to me a bit. Maybe even Brain of Morbius colors a little, but especially Terror of the Zygons colors. And it contrasts with the purple really well. Like the color, it pops off of that purple really, really well. So I really like the color they use right here for that. I think that looks really good. And the enemies, I love how they do the enemies here. My personal favorite being Morbius. I love this shot of Morbius. It looks so epic. I mean, and it looks even so much more epic than it does in the story. I just love that. This is what I always wanted was Morbius facing this way with the claw out. I think I've mentioned that in videos. That's exactly what I would want. And what Lee Binding did with this, oh, it's amazing. I absolutely love that. We have the creature from Android Invasion, the crawls or whatever they're called, right there. I like the fact that he's not big on the screen because these kind of for me he's a minor villain of the season compared to some of the others. Now the Zygon, it actually took me a minute to see the Zygon. He kind of blended in with the Crinoid here. I actually thought there were 6 enemies on the list here, and I'm like, how come there's no Zygon here? And it took me a second to spot it because it just kind of blended in because the Zygon's kind of the color of the background that I didn't see him. But he's there. He's right here. And then, of course, you have the Crinoid right here. I kind of figured he'd be the image up here in the background because there's that one famous shot of the Crinoid, which kind of looks like this, but, it's staring at you dead on, which I kind of figured would be up here. But what Lee has done with this is really good. I wish it was a little bigger, but it looks nice. And then, of course, we have Sutek. I also wish Sutek was a little bigger because he's such an important villain. Probably the best one-off villain Doctor Who has ever had, and I'll always insist on he's a one-off villain. And I do like his glowing eyes. I like how Lee made the eyes pop a little more. And I like that the green light contrasts with the rest of it really well. Having that green, really popping out, or with all this purple and kind of magenta you have going on right here. The green eyes really stand out, and I like that. Again, I wish it was a little bigger, but it looks good. And then you have this. This is growing on me. At first, I didn't like it because it doesn't quite look right to me. You know, it's supposed to be more red lines instead of white lines. It looks almost inversed, which, to be fair, the DVD of it didn't get that right either. But it's really growing on me because it makes it pop. It being this bright makes the art kind of pop right here. And it does look good. I wish there was a little more reddish hue to it to match the story. But it being this bright, and that I wish this was a little smaller. Like I wish they had enlarged the Crinoid and Sutek and shrunk him just a little, since it doesn't quite match the story. Still looks good though, and again, it's a nice burst of color right here that really catches the eye. And I do love the background right there, especially the kind of space dust right here. But my favorite shot is definitely that shot of Morbius. We also have a mummy right here. I like the fact we got a mummy in. We got Sutek and a mummy from season 13, from Pyramids of Mars, and I like that. But yeah, I love that shot of Morbius. That's probably my favorite part of the cover. So it's just fast growing on me, and I can see why Lee went with this outfit because it does make it stand out. But I really wish it had just been the Pyramids look. But again, it would probably look so close to season 12. You know, I figured he could have used that iconic shot. That's the opening of Pyramids of Mars. You know, the with the Doctor looking up. It's such an iconic shot in Doctor Who. I mean, Lord knows they used it at the beginning of the trailer. The trailer has it at the very beginning. And then the modern series has used that shot when doing Doctor Who flashback montages twice in the show and once in the Sarah Jane Adventures. So yeah, I am super excited about this season though, and the art does look good. It is definitely growing on me. It's going to look good next to the shelf. It doesn't. I think we all get kind of an idea of what we expect a box set to look like in our head, and this is different than what I was picturing, but it looks good. Lee does great work, and it's season 13. One of my two favorite seasons of Doctor Who, arguably the greatest season objectively of Doctor Who, depending I say objectively, but that's also going to depend on personal preference of what you want out of a season of Doctor Who. To be fair, being subjectively objective, objectively subjective. But you got 6 good stories, several classics in there. The weakest probably being the Android Invasion because it does have a couple of plot problems and the big elephant of the room of the Brigadier not being in it, and he should be. Um, but you have some really stellar stories, some of the best in Doctor Who with Terror of the Zygons and Planet of Evil and Pyramids of Mars and Seeds of Doom. Just being standout, amazing episodes. With Android Invasion still being good despite a couple, again, nitpicks, and Brain of Morbius being good as well. I'm really excited about this season. I wish there were more extras, but it's probably really hard with so many people from this era sadly have passed. That I'm really excited that we get everything we're getting. I'm looking forward to seeing the updated effects for Terror of the Zygons. I'm looking forward to watching the original omnibus or the recreation of the original omnibus of Pyramids of Mars from the 70s and doing a comparison between it and the Tales of the TARDIS edit. And then seeing the omnibus of Seeds of Doom, I'm really excited about seeing what Douglas Camfield originally kind of had planned for that. Him and Barry, see what they would have done there. So super excited. What do you think? Are you excited about this news? What do you think of this wonderful art? Comment down below. It's nice to be right, and season 13 is next. Super excited. Comment down below and let's talk about it. This right here, yeah, that's the face of Doctor Who in 2025 for me. That is the face of Doctor Who in 2025. That's what I'm talking about. Just when 2025 was looking a bit dire in Doctor Who news, we get this banger right here to celebrate season 13's 50th anniversary. 2 banger seasons in a row. That's what I like to see. So don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that down in the description. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Sam Venning, Unknown289, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. I did just recently get my Standard Season 9 in, Standard Edition Season 9 in from Simon. The unboxing for that will be coming later this month. Really appreciate Simon sending that, another huge supporter of the channel. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list and a link to my Amazon UK wish list as there. Most importantly, as always, thank you for watching.